Good day and welcome to the Waaree Energies Limited Q1FY26 earnings conference call. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during this conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star, then zero on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Ms. Pooja Swami from MUFG In Time India Private Limited. Thank you, and over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Huda. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Q1FY26 earnings call of Waaree Energies Limited. From the management, today we have with us Mr. Amit Paithankar, Full-Time Director and CEO, Ms. Sonal Srivastava, Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Abhishek Parikh, Group Head Finance, Mr. Neeraj Vinayak, Vice President, Investor Relations, and Mr. Rohit Waaree, General Manager, Investor Relations. Before we proceed with this call, I would like to give a small disclaimer that this conference call may contain a certain forward-looking statements which are based on beliefs, opinions, and expectations of the company as of date. A detailed disclaimer has also been given on the company's investor presentation, which has been uploaded on the stock exchanges. I hope you all had a chance to go through the same. Now, I would like to hand over the call to Mr. Amit Paithankar for his opening remarks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Pooja. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for giving us your valuable time and joining the Q1 FY26 earnings call of Waaree Energies Limited. I will be referring to the presentation that has been uploaded on the stock exchanges. If you have the presentation handy, it will be helpful to follow along with the call today. Let me start by speaking about our integrated giga facility that you are seeing on the cover page of our presentation. This is the largest solar giga complex in the country. We currently have 10 gigawatts of modern module manufacturing capacity here and 5.4 gigawatts of solar cell capacity. In close vicinity of this gigafactory, we are setting up 4 new facilities. The first, a 10 gigawatt solar cell. Second, 300 megawatt hydrogen electrolyzer. Third, 3.5 gigawatt hour battery energy storage systems. And fourth, 3 gigawatt inverters. The work on all of these facilities is progressing as per schedule. On slide 3, I am pleased to state that we have reported yet another stellar quarter with a revenue growth of 31% year-on-year and an EBITDA growth of 83% year-on-year. A PAT growth of 93% year-on-year. All of these numbers are record-breaking. On slide 4, a standout highlight of this quarter is 64% increase in production, reaching 2.3 gigawatts, our highest ever quarterly output. Our order pipeline remains extremely robust. Our order book stands at 25 gigawatts, which is equivalent to 49,000 crores of confirmed orders, and our pipeline exceeds 100 gigawatts. As we look ahead, our endeavor is to consistently maintain a healthy order book, providing a clear pathway of growth for the coming quarters and years. From a geography perspective, the mix remains stable with roughly 41% of our order book from India and the balance from overseas markets. Revenue split this quarter is 1/3 international and 2/3 domestic. Moving on to slide 6, the domestic growth remains strong, backed by a favorable policy environment. In Q1 alone, India added 10.6 gigawatts of solar capacity as compared to a total of 24 gigawatts for the whole of last year. This clearly demonstrates the accelerating momentum in India. The ALMM policy on solar cells is now notified with a deadline of June 1, 2026. This policy clarity will further drive domestic manufacturing, job creation, and technology development. In the US, the momentum continues with Waaree securing 2.23 gigawatts of new orders during the last quarter. Growth here is driven by three fundamental drivers. The first, the expansion of AI-related data centers. Second, reshoring of manufacturing into the US, demanding more power. And third, rapid electrification of transportation. The 45X tax credits continue to be applicable. We are closely monitoring the developments around anti-dumping investigation initiated by the US authorities. Our strong US manufacturing footprint is a key strategic asset. It allows us to navigate any policy shifts effectively. We believe the demand outlook both in India and in the US remains secular and long-term in nature. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a multi-decadal opportunity. Within Waaree, we have made some strategic realignments. We are now setting up a 6 gigawatt module and cell facility in Gujarat and ingot wafer facility in Maharashtra. All these facilities will be operational by FY27. By the end of this calendar year, 6 gigawatt module plant in Gujarat will be ready. We are also happy to share that our board has approved additional outlay of 2,754 crore rupees for expansion of cell ingot wafer capacity by 4 gigawatts each at their respective locations. Thus, the new capacity for cell as well as ingots and wafers will sum up to 10 gigawatts each. On slide 8, let us move to something I find especially important. How are we evolving Waaree Energies to a broader energy transition company? We have about 40 to 45% wallet share in our core solar business right now. By expanding into adjacencies like power infrastructure, hydrogen electrolyzers, inverters, and battery energy storage systems, we will be able to offer a full stack energy solution to our customers. We aim to be one-stop solution for our clients' energy transition needs. Moving on to slide 9, let me sum up our overall capacity by FY27. By then, we will have module capacity of 26 gigawatts, cell capacity of 16 gigawatts, and ingots and wafers capacity of 10 gigawatts. Moving on to slide 10, to the other verticals that we have. Battery energy storage system, 3.5 gigawatt hour capacity is coming online in FY27. The facility is under construction at Rola near Chikli Giga Campus in Gujarat. Inverters, we are setting up 3 gigawatt per annum manufacturing facility, which is going to be operational within this fiscal. Hydrogen electrolyzers, a 300 megawatt plant is under construction and will be operational in FY27. Renewable power infrastructure, our discussions with NL Green Power are ongoing. The board has approved equity outlay of rupees 650 crores, and we have signed PPAs worth 170 megawatts. We are also pursuing connectivity of the order of 5 gigawatts. With this, ladies and gentlemen, I now hand over the call to Sonal, our CFO, for her remarks.
Thank you, Amit, and a very good evening to everyone, and welcome to the earnings call. Of course, it gives me great pleasure, and as you can see, the company has reported another stellar quarter of strong performance, which is a strong reflection of our team's commitment, resilience, and strategic focus. And we also remain committed to long-term value unlocking across every segment that we have just spoken about, which Amit has just briefed about. Let me walk you again through the consolidated performance for the quarter. We have reported revenues of rupees 4,597 crores for the quarter, reflecting a robust year-on-year growth of 31.5%. EBITDA for Q1FY26 came in at rupees 1,169 crores, reflecting again a strong growth of 83% compared to the same quarter previous year. Our EBITDA margin for the quarter stood at 25.4%, and which also has an expansion of over 700 basis points. Profit after tax stood at 773 crores in Q1 FY26 compared to rupees 400 crores thereabouts in last year. Of course, again, registering an impressive growth of about 93%. Thank you. Now I hand it back to Amit.
Thank you very much, Sonal. Moving on to the slide 14, I would like to wrap up this stellar quarter for all of us. It's been record-breaking in many ways. Highest ever production of 2.3 gigawatts. Highest ever revenue of rupees 4,597 crores. Highest ever EBITDA of rupees 1,169 crores. And highest ever PAT of rupees 773 crores. I need to take a deep breath. Strong order book giving us visibility and confidence to meet our guidance. All of our key projects, modules, cells, ingots and wafers, hydrogen electrolyzers, battery energy storage systems, and inverters are on track. In 6 months' time, we will reach 25 gigawatts of module manufacturing capacity, and we are most solidly on track to deliver rupees 5,500 to rupees 6,000 crore of our EBITDA guidance that we gave at the beginning of this fiscal. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for a patient listening. I will now hand it over to Pooja to coordinate the question and answer session.
Thank you, sir, for your remarks. Huda, I would request you to open the session for question and answers now.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Akshay from Pinnacle Wealth Management. Please go ahead.
Yeah, congratulations to Waaree team for the great set of numbers. My question is regarding the contribution from Indosolar, the company that you picked up from IBC. So I'm looking for what is the path ahead for the subsidiary in terms of guidance or capacity expansion, and where do you see this company going forward?
So, Akshay, I will talk a little bit broadly about Indosolar and our plans. Indosolar fits squarely in our broader expansion plans. The primary purpose we use it for is module manufacturing. It is located in the Greater Noida area, and that really helps us reaching fast to our customers which are located in the north. From the capacity perspective, I will request Sonal to fill in.
Yes, as you know, Indosolar has a total capacity of about 1.3 gigawatts, and it actually commenced operations in the Q2 of FY25. And since then, we have been ramping up very well, and this quarter, Indosolar results also you have seen. We came in at about 195 crores of revenue, and EBITDA was about roughly 54 crores. So we continue our ramp up there, and the efficiency also will continue as we go forward. We are looking at some good orders coming into Indosolar. So all in all, a good set of projections going forward. Capacity expansion, as and when we go to the board, we will update you on that.
Okay, and any guidance for the quarter, for the year?
So it's a combined guidance. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's a combined guidance for Waaree Energies Limited, and which is 5,500 to 6,000 crores of EBITDA as we talked about.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sahil Seth from Anand Rathi Institutional Equities. Please go ahead.
Am I audible?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Yeah, congratulations on the great set of numbers. I just had two quick questions. What is our current mix of our manufacturing capacities with TOPCon and Monoperk? That is one. And how do you see that going forward in the next 2 years? And with the input prices increase in China, how is that going to impact India? If you could throw some light on this.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Sahil, for a very, very good question. So our current mix continues to veer more and more towards TOPCon as more and more customers want to have TOPCon panels. So over a period of time, we see TOPCon being dominant. In the next, I would say, maybe 3 to 7 months' time, we will actually see Monoperk actually reducing. We will have a certain amount of our older orders where we will need to give Monoperk. But clearly, that will be in minority. From the perspective of input costs from China, over a period of time, we have actually seen continuous movement. Of course, it's been on one way downwards most of the times, but we are now seeing an upward trend. That will, over a period of time, have an impact on our numbers, and we will have to have revision of our prices on the basis of that. But when it comes to that, we will come back to it and we'll talk about it. And I would request Sonal to add on to that.
So I think I've also mentioned this in my previous calls. The endeavor really at our level here is to manage the gross margins. We manage the gross margins, which is the input costs and how it kind of marries in with the prices. So we both look at both in tandem, and that's what we are looking at. So because prices we've seen goes up or goes down, input cost of material also goes up or goes down. But it's the gross margins that we manage, which is essentially how we manage contracts as well as how we sort of back up our purchases against the fixed contracts.
Got it. Thank you. Is there a way to quantify how much is TOPCon and how much is Monoperk in our current capacity?
We will not have the exact numbers. We will not have the exact numbers at our beck and call right now, but we could send those out to you.
Okay, thank you so much. One last follow-up question, if I may. Is there any DCR requirement mandate for any specific technology going forward with ALMM2 coming in from June 26?
So to my understanding, there is no technology requirement for DCR. There will be a push towards TOPCon simply because it's going to be more efficient.
Okay. What kind of capex do we see if we have to shift from Monoperk to TOPCon? If you could throw some light on that.
So this is an incremental capex because most of Monoperk capacity is already used. I would say depending on different types of configurations that various folks would have taken, there will be an incremental anywhere between 15 to 20% of capex that one would need to put in.
Okay, got it. I'll come back in the queue for more questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Akshay Mane from Nuvama Wealth Management. Please go ahead.
Hi. Congratulations for a good set of numbers. I have a couple of questions. So first one is, we have commissioned our solar cell facility, right? How is the progress? In terms of ramp up, stabilization, how is it going so far? And have you started commercial production as of now? This is my first question.
Yeah. So Akshay, thank you very much for your comments. Solar cell facility 5.4 gigawatts, which was inaugurated almost a quarter ago, is very much operational. In fact, we are using the DCR cells produced in this facility for various projects, which include, retail for PM Suryagar, also for PM Kusum, as well as several of the orders that we have which demand DCR cells.
Okay. And so what would be the current, capacity utilization that we must have ramped up as of now?
So the plant is at this point in time ramping up line after line. The lines which we have started earlier on, they are at almost 80%. And the lines which are coming up on, around now, we will be in the region of anywhere between 40 and 50%.
Okay, fair enough. And my second question was, so a couple of days back, MNRE came out with a clarification regarding the ALMM list for cells. So what could be the potential implication of this clarification? Because I believe there is no change in terms of timeline for implementation of ALCM. But they mentioned about the cutoff. So when the list 2 comes out, so you have 1 month's time to get those projects on board. So just wanted to understand what is the potential implication of that clarification that MNRE came out with a couple of days ago.
I think one of the most important aspects of the clarification is the date by which the ALMM for cells will be applicable, and that's 1st of June 2026. It's unchanged. There are some technicalities which have changed, and those technicalities are essentially some of the projects which were quote-unquote grandfathered till 9th of December 2024. That date will now be extended to perhaps the end of August or middle of September. That's after 1 month after the ALMM list is published by the ministry. So the implication of that essentially would be maybe a few more projects would potentially be grandfathered. However, given the type of ramp up that various players in the industry are seeing, and also looking at the number of projects which were grandfathered earlier, I think there will be some impact on the industry, but it's not something that the industry cannot absorb.
So potentially, what could be the size of those projects? In totality,
we are calculating that. The earlier list was in the region of about 110 odd gigawatts, and what would potentially get added would be maybe another 10 gigawatts or so.
Okay. So here now, nothing changes in terms of your timelines, but with our cell capacities at 5.4 gigawatt and module capacity, maybe in the next 6 months, you mentioned it will touch 25 gigawatt. So there's a huge gap in terms of DCR module production, right? So how are we looking at? A lot of projects will move from current ALMM market to maybe DCR market, right? So how are we going to fulfill those orders going ahead if our cell capacity probably for FY26 will be limited to 5.4 gigawatts?
So our cell factory is actually being built at a record pace. We already have the experience of building one cell factory, and drawing upon that experience, the next factory is being built, and it should be ready in the next fiscal. And therefore, we should be in a position to actually supply DCR cells and modules next year also.
Okay. Any broad indication of what would be the mix between DCR and non-DCR orders in our order book currently?
So basically, the DCR orders are mainly coming in from the retail segment and some CNI segment, which is a very current order. It's kind of a cash and carry. So it's a very small part of my order book. My order book is very long-term orders, so it's a pretty healthy one. As you can see, as we are ramping up our cell capacity, it's all about penetrating the market this year, and that's what we hope to do.
Yeah, and just to complement what Sonal says, our shop floor is actually flush with orders for the next 1 to 1.5 years, and with different kinds of orders, right? And so those are clearly will be in the quote-unquote grandfathered category. So we are in a good stead for the next 1 to 1.5 years time.
Okay. Thank you so much. That is all from my side. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Aman Jain from Bernstein. Please go ahead.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, Aman, you are very much.
Yeah. Hi. Thank you for taking my questions. Actually, I have a couple of questions. My first question is regarding the 6 gigawatt integrated facility, which is being shifted from Odisha to Gujarat and Maharashtra, like you mentioned. I mean, it's great to hear the execution is on track. But won't you need to obtain all fresh clearances, permissions, and acquire land, again, before starting the construction? Can all that realistically be done in the next 12 to 18 months? I mean, would appreciate some color on that.
Aman, thank you very much for the question. We actually have the land with us. So let me take you through each one of these aspects, right? First of all, 6 gigawatts, we have actually, with the approval from the board, we have increased it from 6 gigawatts to 10 gigawatts. So it's 10 gigawatts of cells and 10 gigawatts of ingots and wafers, and 6 gigawatts of modules. So for the modules, we have actually, we are going to use a fully done-up facility. We need to just retrofit it for module manufacturing. And so that activity is going on as we speak. And within the next 6 months, those 6 gigawatts of modules will actually be up and running. And so we got the benefit of actually getting hold of a facility which was almost ready-made. As far as cells is concerned, it is being constructed in a place called not very far from our current gigafactory in Chikli. The land is already in our possession. In fact, the construction work is in full swing. Most of the permitting that is needed is also there with us. And for ingots and wafers, the facility is going to be in Butiburi, which is a suburb of Nagpur in Maharashtra. And that land is also in our possession, MIDC. It's an MIDC land, which we have taken possession of. And there also, the engineering work is complete. Preliminary work with respect to the preparation of land is already ongoing. And so therefore, we have a fairly high confidence on the timelines.
All right, so you are confident that the commissioning can start by FY27 latest?
That is correct.
Okay, that's great. That's great to hear. My second question is regarding the non-FEOC rule in that One Beautiful Bill Act. I mean, the extent to which non-FEOC rule apply is unclear to me. I mean, whether it is limited just to the company ownership or it extends across the entire value chain. I mean, if you can throw some color on that, great. How is it going to materialize?
FEOC rules are quite exacting from that perspective. It extends to ownership, it extends to value chain, it extends to where you buy your raw materials from. So it's a fairly broad-based requirement, which, by the way, Aman, is a good news for Indian manufacturers like us who have a footprint both in the US and in India, because that gives us a leg up in actually making sure that we are fully compliant with FEOC from the perspective of both ownership as well as supply chain, and then serve the American market.
Right. I mean, but if we are importing wafer from China or polysilicon from China and then making wafer and then sell, wouldn't it be an issue for us as well?
So, Aman, when we supply to the United States, we ensure that there is no FEOC mentioned countries inputs in that.
In the entire value chain from
The entire value chain.
polysilicon to...
The entire value chain, all the way from polysilicon through ingots and wafers, cells, everything.
All right. Thank you. That clears it. Thank you so much for your answers.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Nitin Arora from Axis Mutual Funds. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thanks for taking my question. Just on this ALMM delay of 9 months, so you can correct me on this, the rooftop they have not touched, the Kusum Yojana they have not touched. Rather, what is your view on the CNI segment? Because that's a bigger segment of solar in country, which now cannot go abroad to take the cell because they have not been given extension. Everyone was thinking on the CNI part. So don't you think that market will open up for Indian cell players and module players, because that's a very decent sized market of 14-15 gigawatt? That is my first question. And second, you said about grandfathering of certain projects. So when we look at till December 2024, there were about 808 gigawatt worth of orders got signed, the PPA. There were only about 5-6 gigawatt which eventually will fall in change in law. But when we look at our private IPP market today, which is 15 gigawatt, which will eventually also grow. So by the time FY28 comes, that market will become also pretty big. So just on these two aspects about the CNI, how you're looking, because they can't now go abroad. They have not got the extension as per the circular. How you see that opportunity pie increasing for the solar cell and especially cell, I want to know module as well. So just on these two aspects, if you can throw some light.
No, Nitin, great question. Both the earlier circular on by MNRE and the latest edition clearly underscore the general direction that the nation is marching forward towards, which is Atmanirbhar Bharat or self-reliant India, and clearly wants to ensure that the value chain for renewable energy, in this case solar, is actually built in India. We create factories in India, we create manufacturing jobs in India, we give opportunity to the entire sector in India itself and be self-reliant. And from that perspective, like you rightly said, 14-15 gigawatts of CNI sector really is available for local players, which is absolutely, from our perspective, the right move forward. And like you can see and imagine, for a player like Waaree, like several of our industry peers as well, is going to be extremely beneficial. On the you quoted the exact number, 108 gigawatts, which could potentially be grandfathered. That was the earlier number. Maybe another 5 to 6 gigawatts may come in change in law, as you rightly said. So that will be the extent of impact that it will have on the manufacturers. Most of the manufacturers, including Waaree at this stage, whatever order books we have, it's comprised of these grandfathered. So in the short run, it is not going to be a problem. It is in fact going to be an opportunity. In the long run, the cell facilities will become even more important. It will be extremely important to ensure that we manufacture ourselves in the country itself, and then feed that into the ALMM for cells market.
Yeah, this is what I was thinking, because this segment was absent, so this will become a larger opportunity for the cell players in India rather than being, opportunity going away. And FY28 will go. I think the IPP will also expand, so that also they have to come back to you guys or any other person putting cell here in India. So yeah, I got it. Your thought process.
No, absolutely, Nitin. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, thank you very much, and all the best.
Thanks.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sarang Doglekar from Vimana Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for the opportunity. So first question is on the cell line. Is it stabilized, and how much is the capacity utilization for the quarter?
Yeah, so I think Aman also asked a similar question. Akshay also asked that question. So cell line, one after the other, our lines are coming online. The ones which we have been able to get online about 2 to 3 months ago are stabilized now. They are working at a capacity of roughly 80%, 85%. The ones which are now coming online are in the region of 50, 40%. And on a combined basis, it is 60%. We will probably take another couple of months to stabilize the entire facility.
Got it. My second question is on the module production. Your PPT states that it is up 64% year over year. But when I see your result, the release, it says the revenue from modules is up 21%. So, why is that? If you could throw some light on that.
Yeah, sure. So I will tell you the quote-unquote theoretical reason, and I will let Sonal talk about the numbers. But the simple thing is, production is essentially based on an overall order book, and the revenue is based on the recognition, right? And this quarter has been a quarter where we have actually shipped a lot of our orders overseas, and that revenue is not recognized. So there is a difference between, therefore, the production and the revenue which is recognized.
Yeah, this quarter we have produced and shipped a significant quantity of export orders. And so that quantity, like Amit says, doesn't show up as sales this quarter, but will be delivered. When it's delivered, it will show up as sales when it's delivered, and that's going to come in the next quarter. So you will see a divergence in sales and volume. Normally, it has been pretty stable, what we report in terms of production and sales, but this time it has diverged because we have a substantial figure in the GIT, and you will see this flow through next quarter.
Got it. And my last question is on the BESS. I see you are making significant investments in that segment, and the demand is also coming up. But I think currently the Chinese batteries and cells are also being imported. So how is the domestic market and Waaree particularly competitive against the Chinese imports? And are there any ALMM-like regulations in that segment as well?
So, in the history of solar, for instance, when solar started, it was almost 10 times as expensive as what it was right now. In fact, around 2010, 2011 time, it was almost felt as if, why do you get into solar business? Because it's so much more expensive than the conventional sources of energy. And in 10, 12 years' time, of course, things change. Battery is actually going through a very similar curve. In fact, we are having a situation where, lithium prices have gone down. The prices of cells are coming down. The prices of packs are also coming down. And all of that taken together, we will actually see a substantial reduction in the price point. In terms of government regulations and how would the trajectories be, we would anticipate something like that, but that's a question, I guess, better asked to the government authorities. If I were to answer the question, I would say yes, why not? But I think the question really has to be directed towards the government authorities.
Right, but currently there is no such policy in place.
Sorry?
Currently there is no such policy in place.
Currently, there is no such policy. In place. I think there are two. We were talking about exports also, and I think Aman had asked a question around APOC. I think similar thoughts and ideas are existing even in the US market, and therefore, what happens is, exports also is a very strong opportunity that is there in front of us, also for the battery segment.
Got it. And my final question is on the demand side. How much is the tendering happening on the central agencies and the state level?
So, tendering, I guess it goes through cycles. So like we said, in the last 6-7 months, it's roughly speaking around 10 gigawatts. But if you really see the capacity that has been added from a solar perspective in the last quarter itself, we have deployed as a nation 10.6 gigawatts, as against 24 gigawatts which was deployed in the whole of last year. So there is a substantial momentum. I think tendering process will pick up.
Got it. All right. Yeah, that's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vikram Sharma from Niveshaay. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Congratulations for good numbers. Sir, I wanted to understand regarding what is our IPP plans. So even I wanted to understand the structure for the IPP business. So we are generating good cash flow in Waaree renewable technologies also. And we are adding our IPP capacity through the acquisition also. So overall, as a group, I wanted to understand what is our long-term plan on IPP side.
Yes, thank you very much, Vikram. I'm requesting Abhishek here to address this question on power infrastructure.
Thank you, Messi. Thanks, Vikramji, for asking this question on this segment particularly. We have mentioned in our announcements also in the quarter when board has given us an approval to build this infrastructure arm for the group, wherein we are getting a pipeline of connectivity as well as land. So even in the presentation also, Amit has mentioned that our objective for Waaree is to keep increasing our wallet share with our clients. So when we were selling modules, the wallet share was around 45 to 50%. Now when we do along with modules, EPC, batteries, inverters, and going ahead, connectivity, the land as well, our wallet share further enhances somewhere around 85-90%. That's the bigger objective. And secondly, when we have land and connectivity, it also increases our chance and our ability to participate in all sorts of tenders and projects wherein there is a requirement of supplying connectivity, land, along with the turnkey projects. So this gives us an additional pipeline for the group, in addition to our existing CAM, exports, and retail markets that we cater to.
Okay. And what is the status of our battery storage cell plant, and what is our future plan with this? What capacity are we planning for this capex?
So, like I talked about in my earlier commentary, for cells by 2027, we will be having a capacity of 16 gigawatts. For modules, we will be having a capacity of 26 gigawatts. And for ingots and wafers, we'll be having a capacity of 10 gigawatts. For batteries, we are going to have a capacity of 3.5 gigawatt hour. And for inverters, we are going to have a capacity of 3 gigawatts.
And on the battery side, post this capex, we have any plan? How we are planning on the battery storage side?
Yeah, so like I said, there is a place called Rola in Gujarat, which is where we are building the battery energy storage system factory. There is an investment of around 2,000 crores, which will be made for the same.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Vikram.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Bhaskar Chakravarti from Jefferies. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. You had earlier indicated that overseas revenues are going to contribute roughly about 20% of the total this fiscal. But in the first quarter, about 32% of the revenues have come from overseas. And you are also indicating that in the second quarter, that number could even increase because of all the shipments which reach. So is there an impact on your orders because of the OBB in US? Is there a front loading that you are seeing, or this is just normal part of the business and things have changed?
So, like I always say, Bhaskar, again, by the way, a very good question. There will be typically variations from quarter to quarter in business. It is business as usual. There has been a demand for increased module requirement from the US in the last quarter, and actually we are seeing that for this quarter as well. So we might be in a situation where the revenues from overseas might be higher in proportion to what it was, say, for instance, Q4 of last year or even Q3 of last year. So those changes will keep happening over a period of time. I mean, directionally, they will be in the zone of, I would say, 20-80 or maybe 70-30 in that zone on a long-term basis.
Okay. Thank you. And also just your thought process on taking overall capacity to 25 gigawatts, which seems like a very big number in the context of where Indian demand will be in FY27. So could you give us some color on, how you are looking at this capacity in terms of export versus domestic, etc., and why you are setting up such a large cell capacity?
So, Bhaskar,
13% of India's market is with you, right? Currently. So
sorry, can you come again on the last part?
I mean, based on your rough idea of your module sales vis-a-vis India's annual installations, I think you have roughly about 13-14% kind of market share in India. So in that context, I just wanted to understand, are you seeing a much larger market share for you a couple of years out?
So the first most important part to understand here is, of course, US is an extremely important part of the equation from our context. And so when we talk about the capacity, it's a global capacity which will be distributed all across the world, which includes the United States. And, the 25 gigawatts, with that, we should be in a position to serve our customers in India as well as our customers in the US. And so as we move forward, we have talked about the secular nature of the demand, whether it's in the US or whether it's in India. In India, we are actually just at the cusp of increasing the amount of energy that we consume. There is a huge amount of urbanization that is going on as we speak. The agricultural demand of power itself is on the rise. So all sectors taken, urban, rural, there's a big spike in power demand expected. And time and again, we have proven that renewable power, and solar being a big component of it, is the cheapest form of energy available to us. And that, of course, frees up India of valuable foreign exchange. From a US perspective, we actually have a huge amount of demand coming up with three fundamental drivers that are again talked about in my commentary. The first is AI and associated data centers that are being put up. Just to put it in perspective, at this point in time, across the US, about 2.2% of overall power consumed is used for data centers associated with artificial intelligence. By 2030, that number is set to grow to 7.5 to 8%, which is a big shift. And so the voracious power appetite is a very big deal from an AI perspective. The second part is the large amount of manufacturing base which is moving back to the US, and that requires a lot of power. And transportation in the US is also getting electrified. So again, a huge demand there, and therefore we are actually quite confident that the capacity that we have, and by the way, the capacity that we have built is based on orders that we are looking at and the pipeline of orders that we are staring at, which is 100 gigawatts as we speak. So it's because of all of that we are building up this capacity.
Okay, so when we are looking at some of your peers, they are also very aggressively adding capacity and backward integrating. So that's not worrisome that in the next couple of years, the kind of capacities we are looking at are probably going to be 3 to 4x in cells and probably 2x to 2.5x in modules.
So the capacity is what we need to look at is how much is the integrated capacity. And that's going to be actually extremely important from the context of India. We talked about ALMM for cells. That's the direction. And, going forward, a very similar kind of a situation would be imposed on, perhaps in the downward, parts of the value chain as well. In the US as well, we talked about FEOC, and we talked about the fact that, the whole value chain needs to be free of the FEOC constraints. So all of that would mean that we need to have manufacturing of cells, we need to have manufacturing of ingots and wafers. And that is also adding to the piece of the puzzle as we look at the overall, demand dynamics. And when we put all of that together, honestly, the requirement, I would say there is room for us to grow in India in terms of cell capacity, and there is even more room for us to grow as far as ingots and wafers are concerned. So we are just beginning, in my opinion.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Chirag Khasgiwala from New Asset Management. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. So this is regarding the anti-dumping duty investigation initiated in US a few days back. So what I understand is, let's say the anti-dumping duty is placed on the solar cell as well, then how will the profitability of the Texas plant get impacted?
So great question. First of all, I think the investigation has just begun, and so we will have to see how does it proceed. There are several other countries in the ambit as well. Now, the important part here is, like I said, we have a global footprint, and so the best way of actually managing through these different types of policy changes, investigations, is that you have a footprint which is local and a footprint by which you can actually supply from outside as well. So that's one, and that's the strength that we have with us. The second is, we are answerable to all of you folks who are asking me questions, and that's why we are answering questions to you. We are listed on Indian stock exchanges. Our books of accounts are audited. They are extremely transparent, and that is true of most of the players in India as well. And so there is really no question of any predatory pricing policies that Waaree undertakes. And therefore, I think we are in a position of strength when we are going to talk to the U.S. authorities as far as ADD investigations are concerned. So let's see how does this evolve. But I would say, we should be in a position, because of our global footprint and because of the fact that we are a publicly listed company, we will be in a position to defend our case well, with minimal impact.
And secondly, regarding your battery energy storage system plant, so can you throw some more light on the revenue and EBITDA potential for this plant once it becomes operational?
So these are initial days for these. It's in an embryonic state at this point in time. As it the production starts, we will be in a position to actually talk a little more in details about that.
Okay. And just coming back to that anti-dumping part, so let's say if at all solar cell has been stopped or duties imposed on India, then will you be able to maintain the margins which you are generating currently on an overall company level, or will it get somewhat impacted because you will have to produce cell or procure cell from US itself, then which could be at a higher cost?
So the primary way in which we manage Waaree is, as Sonal said a few questions ago, is gross margin. And we'll make sure that we are at the right point from a gross margin and EBITDA perspective, and that we keep delivering those numbers for our investors.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ashish from InvestQ PMS. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for this. So continuing from the last question, maybe a pinpointed reply in terms of what happens if to the current order book, which is more than half of it is from the US, if 25% duty is put on India in the coming days. So does it impact in any way our contracts that are already contracted, or those contracts are flexible enough to take into account any such duties to pass on? And secondly, how does the business move ahead in terms of incremental business from the US? Is it possible to pass on this 25% given the demand supply matrix in US? So basically, wanted to understand the disturbance, disruption that would happen to our major business where the profitability is highest. Your comments would be helpful on that.
Yeah, Ashish, you wanted me to be pinpointed. I will be pinpointed. The important part for us to realize is that the ADD investigation has just begun. And so I would not want to get ahead of myself and say this is the way it is going to. These investigations typically takes at the minimum 6 months, optimally 1 year, and sometimes even more than a year. All of the contracts that we have at this point in time, we would actually be, by then, have fulfilled quite a few of them. And in most of our contracts, there are features in which we can draw back and make sure that our profitability is maintained.
Sir, my question was regarding the Trump tariff that is expected to come, the 25%, which would be kind of consistent and kind of ongoing. So is that there are pass-through possibilities? So how are the market dynamics overall? Will it affect in any way our realizations of profitability on the current order book and the incremental business that we would get from there? That's what I was, not the ADD part.
Oh, okay. Ashish, sorry, I misunderstood. So Trump tariffs, I did not listen to that important keyword in that sentence there. It's a basket of different kinds of terms and conditions we have. In many cases, there is a potential of actually, going back to the customer with change orders and so on and so forth. And in some cases, it is not. So it is going to be a mixed bag. But net, like I said, we will always make sure that we are driving towards a gross margin, which leads to an EBITDA that we have committed to our investors.
Any impact of the Big Beautiful Bill that you see?
So, Big Beautiful Bill, the one way to interpret it is that there is a lot of negative around renewables. But on the ground, there are some very interesting things that are going on. Number one, 45X has been retained for manufacturing. And so therefore that helps us. I mean, it has been advanced by a year, but that has been retained. So that kind of helps us. Number two, FEOC regulations have been clearly elucidated, and they are actually beneficial to us because we will be in a position to comply to all of these FEOC regulations being completely owned by India and Indian entities, and by ensuring that the entire supply chain is free of FEOC. So in fact, Ashish, is going to be helpful to us, is what I would say. We have actually seen a slew of orders coming in because of some of the constructs of the Big Beautiful Bill.
Okay. Sir, lastly, there was a promoter holding transfer within a family entity. So what was the need for that? Because that came as a surprise. So what is the reason behind all this?
So, Ashish, thank you very much for the question. I think shareholding patterns, and the promoters wish on how would they want to do it is perhaps limited to what the promoters want to do, and I think is out of the ambit of our present discussion.
But sir, that is a bit important because why would such a need arise? What is the logic behind doing this? As a shareholder, I think you are a bit concerned what's happening. I mean, what led to all this? That is the purpose.
So this is a broader thought process that the promoters have in overall group structuring. How would they want to hold, various assets? It's really depend on how the promoters would like to look at this.
Sure. Thank you so much.